Alex Wooden on 100% Canadian Maple Syrup.
Hello and welcome to the Daily Rant. I'm Alex Wooden. I want to give a very brief preface. This is a news segment where I'll rant about something that really outrages me. For people in Ottawa, you may remember Randall Moore's 1 Minute More. I feel he has failed in his role by accepting to sell his rant as commercial time and praising Harper, or advocating that all pit bulls be euthanized because they are weapons, not animals. No matter the topic, he has been the shame of Ottawa and our local classic rock station Shea 106 for a long time. I'll attempt to bring a new voice of reason to Ottawa's airwaves. But without further ado, let's get to the topic at hand. Adults should be ashamed. Greta Thunberg and youth march for the future. September 20th, global climate strike this Friday. Now I want to start off by giving you a little bit about Greta Thunberg. She's I believe, 16-year-old girl who's traveled across the ocean in a fucking solar-powered boat, speedboat. She doesn't want to use planes because they're really bad for the internet. Now, if a little girl can come all the way from Sweden just to talk to leaders and stuff and just to raise awareness, what does that not make you a little bit ashamed if you even acknowledge climate change at all, climate disaster, whatever you want to call it? It should. She traveled across the fucking ocean to get here. Now, I don't want to swear too much, but I think you should understand what's at stake here. Now, I want to bring up something that happened earlier in the week as well. Activists, employees of the oil pipeline, or the oil shipping yards, were arrested, blocking oil shipping channels, being arrested and abused. And basically they said, we're shutting this down because we can't continue to contribute to the doom of the planet. Now, something else that happened this week. The movement covering climate now, where over 250 outlets, media outlets worldwide, are pledging greater clarity in addressing climate change. They say that there's been a massive failure and that they have not been educating the public over the last 20 years, which has resulted in a lot of people, 20 to 40%, not believing in climate change, not believing in climate devastation. Which leads me to my next point. If you do not take part in the climate strike on the 20th, Friday of September, you're nothing but a coward. Show up. Do not go to work. Your rights are protected under federal and provincial law. Bring a sign to Parliament for a peaceful show of dissatisfaction and demand action or a vote of no confidence. Your world needs you. The children, they need you. Are you going to stand up for the youth of Canada's future? Are you going to stand up for good-paying green energy jobs for every single Canadian in every province to make our country not only self-sustaining, but a leader and a beacon of change that is possible? The elite have one power over us, the masses. It is to control our minds. They want you to believe that nothing is better, that nothing is possible in a forward direction, that every Canadian is only worth as much oil as they can pull up from the ground, that we must keep our heads down and drill to provide for the economy and the world's energy needs. What they really mean is their slanted economy that hurts the bottom 90% of the nation and the energy dependence of the world. Everyone knows it. Most people agree. Yet we stand by as forest fires rage for months on end. Hurricanes and floods swallow up the U.S. and even slowly Quebec and Nova Scotia here in our own great nation. Hurricane Dorian is claiming lives as we stand by silent, enjoying our temporary safety as if it doesn't affect us and never will. We are told that the world is overpopulated and can't sustain life if the population increases. These are the same people that stand by as the future is pillaged from the world's masses under the wool blindfold of cruel nature, and not senseless greed and mismanagement on the scale of sheer treason. The only thing that we can do as a nation, as a people united, is use our power. We are labor. We are the tax backbone of this country. We pay the bills. And if we use our strength, if we stand up for the children, for the world, and for ourselves, we can have a better life today, as well as a guaranteed tomorrow. How long will you stay in a minimum wage job or your okay paying job and struggle to scrape by? If people realize the potential to have a $30 to $40 an hour paycheck with profit sharing, etc., from a solar co-op or a much needed and environmentally beneficial cannabis or hemp grow-op co-op, hemp to replace paper and produce biodegradable plastic from hemp resin. And hemp plants can clean the air and soil much faster than large trees can. Now I'm going to cite another article that I read earlier in the week, and this was about the marijuana shops that are trying to open right now. And basically, some of them and some previous store owners are not being allowed, and they might even have their property taken now because of a clause in the government that allows any business linked to criminal organization to have in all their assets seized by the federal government or provincial government. I'm not sure which one. I forget. But would you not agree that acting repeatedly to lobby the government from keeping pipeline production going, in spite of clear evidence from government scientists saying it's causing damage that will result in climate meltdown and loss of life, etc., is a crime? I think that any jury of average people would, if people could only understand that what was at stake was not only the future, but also enriching Canadians with solar production plants and cannabis and hemp co-op grow-ops in every single province. How much richer we could all be if we could only muster a crowd as large as we have on Canada Day. Why can't we bring that same passion to a climate strike and demand that a Green New Deal for the poor and the people's future be brought forth competently, swiftly, and for everyone, not the rich, not the corporations that already exist, but for the people, God damn it. Excuse my language. Why, if scientists agree, does the government keep pushing toward oil pipelines? Because they are nothing but traitors to every Canadian. They're dooming us to poverty and eventual environmental chaos. Ottawa, we have the power. We are the center of the world's brightest and most inclusive nation on earth. Everyone in Canada knows the truth. It's time we stand up and show the barons of this nation that we are in power, not the cowards in suits with armies of police. And we will all stand up as a nation to make Canada the true north, strong and free. I'm Alex Whitten. Thank you for listening. Remember, war is when government tells you who your enemy is, and revolution is when you decide that for yourself. Benjamin Franklin. And those who make peaceful revolution impossible make a violent revolution inevitable. JFK. Thank you very much for listening, and I encourage you all to take part and raise awareness. Tell everyone you know about the climate strike Friday the 20th. That will be tomorrow. By the time that this is out, you need to tell everybody you know. Take an hour off of work, especially if you work downtown, and get down there and say that you will not take this shit anymore. Thanks for listening. Again, I'm Alex Whitten, and this is the Daily Rant. We are all citizens of the world. We are all citizens of Eden.